On this episode of Soldiers Tech Battlefield, I'm going to be taking a look at the Wii U, and we have a special guest in the house. Veronica Belmont is going to be here to tell us whether she likes the Wii U or whether she hates it. So let's go ahead and start the show. What is up, guys? My name is Mark Watson, and this is another episode of Soldiers Tech Battlefield. And today we have a very special guest in the house, Veronica Belmont. How are you doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. On this episode, we're going to be talking about the Wii U. Now, one of us likes it, and one of us doesn't like it. And we're going to talk about three categories today. We're going to be talking about the overall hardware of it, the software, and also whether this thing is going to be able to last the longevity of it. Now, also, too, at the end of this episode, we're going to be having a giveaway of a $25 Amazon gift card and also a t-shirt as well. So stay tuned for that. Now, Veronica, I'm going to start off with you. What do you think about the hardware of the Wii U, especially the gamepad?
The hardware is definitely an upgrade. I mean, I don't think there's any arguing that fact. But the downside is that I'm not a big fan of the gamepad. It just seems like another extra device that I have to have sitting on my coffee table. It's big. I mean, it's bigger than my Logitech Harmony remote, for example. It's bigger than a lot of the other devices I have sitting around. So I'm not a huge fan of that. I understand some of the gameplay potential there, but I don't want to have another device in my living room.
I do agree with you. It is pretty big, and even I have big hands, and it's still kind of a little bit big for me. But I see the functionality of it, and also too the fact that it can function as a universal remote control for your TV set. I think that's pretty cool.
Well, now correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't work with every single game though, right? Like you can't just play the game on the Wii pad. For example, like Zombie U, I couldn't figure out if it was compatible with just the gamepad or not because it uses that as such a major element of the gameplay.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, every game doesn't take the full potential of the gamepad. You are right in that. I think the hardware is a good start for this new launch of the Wii U, but it definitely needs the software to take advantage of it. And speaking of software, let's go ahead and move into that category. As far as the launch titles, the Wii U did launch with a good amount of titles ranging from first-person shooters from Call of Duty to Black Ops 2 to a new game, Zombie U, and also a new Mario game. What do you think about some of those games?
I'm pretty done with Mario at this point. I think I'm going to incur the wrath of Nintendo fanboys all over the internet, but I think they need to move on. I think it's time. I think that I'm glad that a lot of third-party developers are creating games like Modern Warfare 4 for the Nintendo, and you know, Zombie U, like I mentioned before, is a huge leap in that area. But on the other hand, how many times can you play Mario before you're kind of done with it?
Yeah, this Mario game was pretty confusing to me because yeah, you're right. It's not anything that I think people would get excited for. Now, I think that the CEO, the president of Nintendo, yesterday did announce that they are coming out with a new Zelda and a new 3D Mario game that will be coming out eventually sometime in 2013. So I think those are the games that I wish they would have launched with.
Because you know what people love? 3D televisions.
That is true. That is true. But no, it's not true at all. But I think that when I say 3D, I don't mean 3D as far as you know, using the glasses, but I think from Mario World.
All right, fair enough.
I heard you played Zombie U. How did you like that interaction between the game and the gamepad itself?
I thought it was very unique. I thought it was a really cool way to use the hardware, but the downside of that is when you're playing a game like that, when it's really intense, when you have to make a lot of fast choices, I feel like looking down constantly at the gamepad was a big distraction, and I felt like it was taking away from my reaction time. So for something like a survival horror game or even a first-person shooter, I don't know what kind of integration they're doing with first-person shooters in the gamepad, but when you actually have to look down into it to check your inventory or to, you know, check your map and your radar, it just seemed like one extra thing that I was doing instead of looking over my shoulder to see if I was about to have my face eaten off.
Now, I know you had some problems with the software as far as the loading times and just setting it up. And real quick, touch on that real quick.
Yeah, the loading times I was actually pretty surprised by. Maybe I'm just used to really snappy loading times on my PC, shock of the year. But I did actually notice it. It just seemed like it was churning and churning and churning, and I don't know whether that's, you know, a balance between the CPU and the GPU working there. And I found the menu system to be a little bit more convoluted than maybe it should be. Sometimes I didn't know if I was supposed to be looking at the gamepad or if I was supposed to be looking at my screen. And so it takes some getting used to, for sure. I feel like there's a bit of a learning curve, which surprises me coming from Nintendo, because you think they would make it as dead simple as possible.
You know, I can't even argue with that. I just went into the settings in the Wii U to change something with my Wi-Fi network, and it took about 20-25 seconds for it to get back to the home screen. So that's definitely not, it shouldn't be the case, especially when you have systems like the Xbox and the PlayStation 3 that have been out for years now and are pretty snappy. So I do agree with you on that. Now let's go talk about the longevity of the Wii U. Do you think it's going to be a system that a year from now, are we going to actually be talking about it?
I don't know. I mean, the Wii itself had that same kind of situation where it launched, it was enormous, but then everyone who kind of was going to buy a Wii bought one, and then sales kind of dripped off at that point, or drooped off at that point. And I think that we may be in a similar kind of situation. You know, I've always said that I think Nintendo is going to eventually go the way of Sega and become a software developer and get out of hardware completely. So I think I would say within the next 5 years, that could be the case if sales of the Wii U don't really keep them afloat.
But you know, I think the people, like you said, the people who are buying the Wii U, I think they know exactly what they're getting. And I think they may be holding off for those first-party games like the Mario games, the Zelda games, and things like that. And of course, Mario Kart, that's what I'm waiting for. But I see the Wii U definitely lasting at least a couple years, at least being a player. I don't think this will be the last system that we see from Nintendo. But again, that's all going to be, you know, in order for them to be able to continue that, it's all going to be about the software that they release from the next year or so. But I see the Nintendo Wii U actually being around for about another 2 years, 3 years or so. And I think Nintendo will be able to release hopefully another better system after this.
So the Wii U can be a great device for a lot of people. It's a great device for families. It's for people who love those legacy Nintendo titles. But you know, I think a lot of people are kind of moving on to a different kind of gameplay experience.
All right, so guys, this brings it into this episode of Soldier Tech Battlefield, where we talked about the Wii U, whether it was good or whether it was not good. Now, I want you guys to leave a comment down below about what are your thoughts about the Wii U. Are you on Veronica's side that it definitely has a lot of work to do? It's not really up to par to some of the gaming needs out there, but or do you kind of favor my side to think that the Wii U does have a specific audience out there and it could be a system that we talk about from years from now? Anyway, leave that comment down below. And also, too, guys, Veronica is the host of Fact or Fictional, the show here on the Tech Feed channel every Tuesday, right after this episode. Tomorrow you can go and check out her episode. And now, Veronica, real quick, what are some of the things you talk about on that show?
We've had time travel, we've done hoverboards, we've done Jurassic Park, the possibility of dinosaurs coming back or not, and an awful lot of Bruce Willis, weirdly.
Yeah, I saw that last episode. And also, we are doing a giveaway, guys, like I mentioned before. And the giveaway question is going to be, which tablet won the design category? In my battle between the iPad mini and the Nexus 7, leave that comment down below. And you have a chance to win a $25 Amazon gift card and also a cool t-shirt. Veronica, you have that shirt?
Ah! Oh, let me show the front part, because that's the exciting stuff.
Ooh,
not bad, huh?
You one of those. I don't even have one of those.
I don't. I'm keeping this one.
Uh-oh. So anyway, guys, again, thanks, Veronica, for coming out. You can check her out on Twitter at Veronica. You can definitely tell she's one of the first Twitter users out there. But check her out on Twitter and check her show tomorrow. And again, thanks for watching. I will see you next week, guys. Peace out. Show me pictures of a honey badger, because it just doesn't give up. All right, so easily Google now gets this one. It gives me pictures directly. Siri's asking me to search the web, so Google now gets this question.